It's Metal Gear Hospital Simulator. Sims.
It's like I'm really there.
CQC flashlight suppressor. Silencer. God.
What kind of know how to shoot a gun? Hold down the A
Do I
button
know how
to
to
aim.
shoot a gun?
Then press the attack button to fire. Destroy it. Hold up. I'll take the right. You take the left. Take cover fire! Reload! Pretty good. Calm down. You can do this.
It's trying to rank you each mission you play. Smell what the rockets are.
I'll run interference.
Take your say. Try to remember the basics. Try to remember the basics of CQC. Moving. dodged a tank on that one. I recommend you shoot it. Looks like it, yeah. Just kind of head on out of here.
Hospital.
Snake eater.
I wonder what country he's in at this point. They were speaking German earlier, I think.
No, arm's gone all wiggly.
Where'd his sidekick
Somebody need an ambulance.
Get in!
got to run. I already did the hit pod. Seatbelt safety first, everyone.
Oh, he's doing his stomach ache thing. Cyprus. Outskirts of Zilla Timbao.
Of course.
First try. March 11th, 1984. 3:07 a.m.
See, like.
I mean, 0307.
So the guy.
That's a question. Does he? I don't know. It's just a theory from MatPat, but it's an interesting one.
MatPat actually did a theory for that? Or
I thought he did. Maybe I'm attributing this to someone else. Or to him, but it should be someone else.
Well, look at that.
Well. That was killer. Well, let's see.
Get on! I'm on your side! Hurry!
Yes.
Hurry! Hang on!
Somebody give me a shotgun.
Use this! Watch our backs! Shoot it! Careful, that gun's slow to reload! You lost your mind! Watch for an opening!
Never gonna get me. Just destroying this forest. Literally everything.
Now! You get him? We shook him off. Now! I see it!
I'm on fire.
The harbor! We're almost there!
Well, that's interesting because, you know, in Metal Gear Solid 3 when you play, you fight Volgan, lightning strikes. You know, his whole thing was electricity.
Did he die just a random lightning strike?
It wasn't even cloudy, it just...
Huh.
Well, it's because he... in a S rank? What? Codename Chick? What?
Nice, very good.
What? I don't even know. Okay, now we can't take a break yet, so we're gonna have to keep going.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Let's see. Sneaky! No, not yet. Quit horsing around anytime someone's on the horse. It's the best things to ever see. God, what a day. Woke up from a 9-year coma, you got shrapnel and bones and teeth in your body. Right, injected me with some sweet drugs. They were jazzercising. They said that. They were keeping my limbs all exercised. Oh, here's the part of the opening credits where Kojima lists his name about 60 times. Because I did most of this.
It's very well.
Never forget
It is very well planned out. I mean,
Oh, yeah. I want to just go ahead and put this out there. I think Konami did him dirty.
worse.
The name's Ocelot. Big boss. You know who I am. A certain man gave me a job to do. Two, actually. First was to get you out of that hospital. The second was to rescue the
Yeah,
man
Harry
himself.
Gregson Williams. That's the classic music guy.
You remember? Your partner 9 years ago, Kazuhira Miller. 9 years back, your private army came under attack by Cypher. You were considered dead. Until today, that is, when Cypher found you. And it's not just them. The whole world wants you dead.
It's alright though. It's very.
You'll have to join up with Miller. Build that private army of yours one more time. It's your only chance.
Ooh.
Because it was supposed to be like, look, there's different players' advantage, but
Right.
it just
First, we need to save Miller. He's in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
What, you can't keep up with world affairs in a coma?
Wild Wild West. Jim West. Desperado.
4 years ago, the Soviets invaded Afghanistan. The Muslims are fighting back with Western support. Miller was training Mujahideen rebels when he was captured by the Soviets. The Reds' 40th Army. Troop strength somewhere around 100,000.
that's all I have to say.
The squad holding Miller set off near the Pakistan border yesterday. Now, in 3 days, they'll reach the Soviet garrison. They'll be interrogated for a few more days, and it's off to a lager. Or left to rot in a ditch on Afghan soil.
Jeez,
You wanna know
Ocelot.
what? You should have named him
I give him 2 weeks.
instead of Dr. Cooper, which I still love.
I stand behind it.
The job didn't mean anything to Miller. He only took it on to keep you safe.
Or Buster.
Buster!
I'm a monster.
Well, there's our ride.
Baby Buster.
Baby
Well-
Buster would have been Baby Byron
Got a
Buster.
pretty good deal on her once the IWC started raising a stink. Now, 7 days to Port Qasim, another 3 overland. So we won't have much time once we're there. Don't take too long getting used to your new self. Hang on. Ha!
Yoji, son, you did great. I think that's number 5 for Kojima. I might have exaggerated earlier. Directed, written by, produced by, directed. You put directed twice. Yes, I did. Revenge!
I don't remember this. No.
That's gonna come back later. Anytime Ocelot injects you with something.
So this is what's happening while you're traveling?
Yes.
Oh.
So he gives him a sweet
At
robot
first I
arm.
thought it was a flashback.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta suit up. It took him what I assume was 2 weeks to suit up. It's like I can load guns again. Thanks for the sweet super robot arm tech that the public won't see for 40 years.
America already has a cure for AIDS.
Saving it for a latter day. Alright, let's see. My limbs!
Wait, what was the not Phantom Limbs?
I'd hoped it would just be him and Ocelot, with Ocelot holding a coconut. Coconut get to Afghanistan. Maybe a
The
swallow
area
carried
ahead
it.
is under total Soviet control. Miller's been captive for 10 days. Not much time left.
Weather will clear shortly.
Storm's passing.
Punished venom snake. Benedict Kazuhira Miller.
Who is that?
Oh, that's Kaz.
Miller?
Kaz. Revolver Shalashaska Ocelot.
You gotta show me when you.
Getting used to it?
Cars. I will. You know Miller.
I just don't remember. It's been a while. You know what? That's shrapnel in his head. This whole time I've been thinking he had a horn.
That's kind of it's symbolic of one. The more killing you do, the larger the horn gets, the more blood you get on you.
After 9 years on ice, solo infiltration of the Soviet main ground forces. Should be the perfect one.
Hideo Kojima is a big fan of custom sweet-ass sunglasses and regular eyeglasses.
Kazuhira Miller is being held in Dawandehar. Check its location now. Take out your eye drone.
The main character gets to know the creator of the world that they're in.
Yeah.
You see Wandy on the map? That's where they're keeping Miller. Only problem is we don't know his exact location. Finding it is your first priority.
Marker placed.
Got your binoculars? Or should I say, your int scope? See the village? Straight ahead?
Definitely puts a bit of himself into these games.
You see the heat waves? That's awesome.
To the right.
Incredible.
Have you spotted the village? Zoom in closer.
I didn't realize Afghanistan had this many trees.
Where's he trying to get
The village.
Here?
Have you spotted the
That
village?
shiny part.
Zoom in closer. All right, that's the village. If you see something through the binoculars and you need more information, just give me a call. I'll tell you anything I can about it.
Shiny things.
That's Violo Village, the Violo Calais. The villagers fled the war and evacuated a while back. Since then, it's become a base for the Soviets' 40th Army.
I
A
don't
few
know.
days ago, Miller was
gonna
taken
see what
through
he said
there,
about
en route towards Dehar. You may be able to pick up the trail there. It's worth a shot. Put a marker on it so you don't lose track of where it is.
Marker
Good.
placed.
Now you won't have to worry about getting lost along the way.
You can't have much left in him. I give him 3 days, tops. If we fail, and he dies, we lose our chance of revenge. But we need more intel. If you just go charging into Dehar, you'll be putting both your lives at risk. See what you can find out first. The Soviets have other outposts, not just the one you saw. Afghanistan is a big place. I expect you'll become quite familiar with those binoculars as you plan your next move. How and where you make it, well, that's up to you.
Chronologically, yes.
From here on out, you're on your own.
This takes place between MGS3 and MGS.
You're a legend
Oh,
in the
and
eyes
Metal
of
Gear
those
1.
who live on the battlefield. That's why you have to handle this mission yourself.
For Metal Gear 1. Oh.
Put
This
those
is supposed to
9
be how he
years behind you.
transitions from Big Boss
And
from Metal Gear
return
Solid 3 to
Big boss.
the Big Boss we know from Metal Gear 1.
That's how Cause would want it. I'll be sending additional intel by radio. Stay sharp. Not one of Miller's bodyguards survived. And they were good. All we found on the scene were their corpses and knees.
Some more sweet ass sunglasses.
They'll be missing them. And you're his only hope of getting them back.
He had a different.
Okay, that was.
I'm pretty sure he had a different voice actor. Come on, do the Ocelot shriek.
Now go! Let the legend come back to life.
Pretty good. Number 6.
He probably was like.
That's really cool.
Dude, what if he did it every time there was like a really cool shot? Like the first time you see one of the Metal Gears in this game, and you just. I like that. No.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Let's see. So this is what?
They've got Miller locked up in that town, but we don't know his exact location.
Finding it is your first priority.
A few days ago, Miller was taken through there, en route towards Dehar. The transport log might still be around somewhere.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Well, you know Miller's in that one town, but you can first go through this other town to get some clue about exactly where he is.
Oh, okay, cool.
And
You were hospitalized in Dekelia, a British sovereign base area on Cyprus. It's part of British overseas territory that falls outside of Cypriot jurisdiction. You got moved from Cuba's Little America right into Cyprus's Little Britain. Why Dekelia? The UK and the US remain close allies. The last place Cypher would think to look for you is inside their own system. That's what kept you safe in British military hospital for 9 years. The safest place from a whale is inside its own belly. You were a regular Geppetto.
Well, it wasn't Pinocchio who led me out to safety. So who was that guy?
Cypher went so far as to attack British territory, burning the...
Hold it. There's a Soviet guard post.
Dead.
There are bound to be guards. Take a look with your binoculars. Put the enemy in the center of your field of view.
The Greek accent.
They hire locally. Easier to trust them. Dekelia is also home to Greek Cypriots, after all.
What about the Turks? They haven't returned to the south.
Not yet. The Cyprus dispute is still a long way from resolved. The country is just as split as it was in '74. Turkish Cypriots in the north, Greek Cypriots in the south. Between them, the Green Line, the UN established.
And Dekelia sits right on top of it.
It does. Part of the buffer zone between the two groups. Another reason it was the perfect place to hide you. Easy to spot any outsiders snooping around.
So how do things stand?
Last year, the Turks declared that the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus is an independent state, though it's only Turkey that recognizes it. In the past, the Greeks and Turks lived side by side in the same villages. There are reasons to fight.
Sight, sound, keep all your enemy senses in mind. When you're near an enemy, stay low and move slowly.
Yeah, it's a part of the plot.
But once you spark something like this, it's impossible to control. Both sides build up grudges like death.
It's just about what's happening in the
to
area.
see that each act of revenge just fans the flames. And then it's too late for other nations to rush in with...
Don't leave bodies out in the open. Find some place to drop them out of sight.
Each nation's arrogance only breeds anarchy. The world is paralyzed by this hunger for revenge. Cyprus is no different.
How long did they stay asleep?
A little while.
Outpost
Can
captured.
they wake up while
You're up.
If you do it long
We
enough,
can't go
yeah.
sailing the Suez in a whaler.
Well, if you don't subdue them quickly enough, they
When
call
did they reopen it?
reinforcements.
Not long after you were attacked.
They don't like
Once they finished sweeping it for mines after the
Well, they'll try to,
Arab-Israeli
yeah.
conflict. Can you stand?
That's a type of medicinal plant. Bring it back to base. It's sure to be useful sometime.
Afghanistan's neighbor to the south. There we disembark and head via Peshawar to the zero line, the border. We'll travel to the Khyber Pass by road.
And then?
We continue on horseback. Afghanistan's main roads are under Soviet control. We'll need to go around them. It'll be all narrow, winding paths through the mountains. We'll do better on horseback. It's a local guerrilla tactic. They use the higher ridges to avoid air recons. Then they charge down the mountains for ambushes. The Soviets still haven't devised a counter-strategy. Our time frame is only half as much as we really need. It's gonna be a tough march.
Better horses than boats.
Well, it'll make for good physiotherapy. Take the time to get used to that new arm.
While the Soviets have indicated they are not participating in the Los Angeles Olympics, primarily because the United States has made no attempt to guarantee the safety of the Soviet Union's athletes.
You're almost at the enemy outpost, Vialo Village. The village is crawling with enemy soldiers. Don't just go waltzing in. Start with some recon. Is there anywhere that overlooks the village?
That concludes today's news.
That's quite some news.
The Soviet Union not attending the LA Olympics? Yeah. Andropov's death has changed some things. They're calling it revenge for the Western boycott of the Moscow Olympics.
Countries boycotted the Moscow Olympics.
Yes. In protest of the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. Over 50 countries were absent. It's too bad I didn't get to see Yamashita's judo. When the 40th Army crossed the Amu River 4 years ago, détente went right out the window. The U.S. Congress chose not to ratify SALT II, and Reagan's hardline politics won him the presidency in a landslide. According to him, the Soviet Union's an evil empire.
The Second Cold War.
And there's been no end to regional conflicts and civil wars. Lebanon, the Falklands, Grenada, Iran, Iraq. The story never changes.
Egypt and Israel did sign a peace treaty. But then the driving force on the Egyptian side, President Sadat, was assassinated afterward. Apparently, his actions were considered a betrayal of his fellow Arabs. Islamic extremists.
You know, watch what
Yes,
that bird's
fundamentalist extremists have been responsible for some bold acts of terrorism in recent years.
We've had extremist students in Iran take U.S. embassy workers hostage, and suicide bombings in Lebanon.
How about it? Can you see the village from there? That's a rough diamond. Good find. It'll fetch a high price.
Afraid of losing their own men, they pulled their forces out, handing private forces a golden opportunity.
Private forces.
Small armies with no national affiliation, working for the highest bidder. That's right, they got the idea from you. After Mother Base went down, they began spreading to meet the soaring demand. Miller's organization is just one of many PFs now. The entire world is after you. But at the same time, it needs you too. Miller told me about what happened in the Caribbean 9 years ago. You do remember Miller. You'd formed a private army with him. An army with no allegiance to a nation.
I remember, but...
Oh,
I see.
a few.
You're not sure what's fact and what's a fantasy caused by the coma. It's still all a mess, huh? All I can do is tell you the
A
facts.
parabolic antenna. There could be intel files of some kind in there.
This is where the hard stuff begins. 1974, the year before you entered your coma. You were in Colombia, operating with a small unit of men, basically mercenaries. Miller was among them. Miller was trying to find a way to turn his and your talents into a line of work. He was looking to start a business where you would fight on behalf of others around the world, those who needed military force. But the reality was, at that time, you didn't have enough gear to equip your own men. Then Miller came across this client. It was a huge job he was offering, but you had a shot at pulling it off. You accepted it and headed into Costa Rica. The client even threw in an offshore facility in the Caribbean. The mother base, that would be your new base of operations. Miller sure did have a head for business. As your mission went on, your unit grew and grew. More weapons, more money. Before you knew it, you were commanding 300 men.
Yes.
As the organization got bigger, your military powers swelled to match. It got so the international community couldn't afford to ignore you. You were just too damn successful for your own good. Your men had worn out your welcome.
Oh yeah, that too.
Everyone was out for you. East, West, First World, Third. It was only a matter of time before someone took you down. And that was XOF. Officially, they're an anti-terror unit under the CIA. In reality, they're Cypher's private strike force. They lured you to Cuba using Chico, the Nicaraguan revolutionary kid, and Paz, a mole who worked for Cypher as bait. While you were gone, XOF, posing as a nuclear inspection team, stormed Mother Base. At the same time, C4 they placed on the strut legs went off.
Cypher.
The whole thing went down in minutes. XOF. Kisses and hugs followed by a big F-U. All because of Miller's blind spot. A back door into Mother Base no one suspected. You remember a certain scientist. Huey was responsible for bringing the inspection team on board, giving the enemy a perfect opportunity to hit you at home. You were returning from Cuba when it happened. Mother Base came damn close to taking you with it into the Caribbean. Most of your men out on assignment returned right away. They refused to believe the wreckage in the water they found was Mother Base. But they checked the coordinates again and again, until reality finally settled in. You were supposed to die that day. That was XOF's primary objective. As far as most folks know, you did. The first doctor to see you wasn't even sure what he was looking at. Before they'd even finished operating, your men moved you to that hospital in Cyprus. It was a woman named Eva who arranged that. Rings a bell, huh? Most men in your condition would have been written off right from the start. But you survived. You went straight down to hell, and they pulled you out. Your eye wide open. Full of venom. The days of naked Snake are long gone. Welcome back, Venom Snake. This world still needs you. Here, Snake, try this on. Prosthetic arm.
Ocelot.
Yeah, Miller was calling it the arm that wasn't there. The physiotherapy's going well. Your arm's bulked up enough for it to fit. There. Perfect. A little time with it, and it'll work better than the real thing. What do you think?
I don't want anybody that I
can still feel
didn't notice to accidentally come across.
Well, you better get used to this one quick. You have any pain?
Every now and then.
Where?
My fingertips. My left fingertips.
Sounds like phantom pain. Your brain still remembers your old hand.
Yeah.
What about your vision? Can you see okay?
Yeah, at the moment.
Now, the shrapnel in your skull is pressing on
Those materials are already processed. They should come in handy sooner or later. Why not start gathering them?
Your brain might process visual information incorrectly. In other words, you could have hallucinations. You might see things that aren't there, or not see things as they really are. You experience any of that?
Destroy
I think so.
Satellite
When?
communication.
Right after I wake up. Colors look faded.
Colors, huh? Well, that's not a major concern in and of itself, but it could mean the difference between life and death in the field. You'll need to watch out for that.
I will.
All right. You should continue your physio. We'll be arriving soon. It's the last chance you'll get.
syntheum. That's used to make your phantom cigars. Your suppressor's no longer effective. Bear in mind your weapon will be loud from now on.
You have arrived at your destination.
Oh no, I don't have any parachutes yet.
Hey, that's...
What's this?
That's how he scans copies to digital.
So you picked up an intel file.
Extraction.
Now we know where Miller is.
Base.
I'm marking it on your iDroid.
The map has been updated.
Кафе, меня кто-то вырубил. Скорее всего, противник. Делаю поиском. Прием. Это КП, понял. Всем подразделениям. У нас могут быть нарушители. Конец связи.
That circle is reinforcements.
Yeah, it's a truck coming in. I don't know if they're coming here, but...
Marker removed.
That's the building, boss. That's where they're holding Miller.
КП, ГТЗ. Есть признак вражеской активности. Усилим охрану. Прием. Это КП, понял. Проверьте окрестности. Конец связи.
Much.
Planning to walk the whole wilderness on foot? Use your horse.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Anytime you need advice, just give me a call. It's up to you whether to slip by enemies or take them down. Just remember that any situation can change fast. Familiarize yourself with your weapons and items while you can. You need to be able to switch between them quickly to meet any threat.
I gotta get their music. Excellent. Okay. Wait here, horse.
It's an enemy guard post. Watch yourself.
They didn't see a thing.
Missing out. That's pretty great.
Oh, did I get a new suppressor?
Yeah.
Excellent.
I thought you noticed it.
I did not.
Ау! С тобой все в порядке?
outpost captured.
Where's my sweet, sweet music? Science!
We're science!
I think on that note, we shall pick it up next episode. Dragon Ball Z.